Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, and feel free to comment down below what you would like me to do for future anime and cartoon-related content. So, before we get started, looks like we are going to get a Season 3 of Harley Quinn, so that's cool, or hopefully we do. HBO Max. But today we are talking about the half-demon princess, Yashahime. And basically, it's kind of a spin-off of Inuyasha based on their kids. And looks like the main character is Toa, there's Setsuna, and there's Mora. Or Moroa. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. But basically, the gist of it is this episode was pretty much all Inuyasha. So, Toa gets captured and back in the feudal period. And I guess they were raised in Japan at some point. So that means Inuyasha and Kagome actually ended up going back to Japan, and present-day Japan, Tokyo, to raise their children. Somehow or some way. Either that or they have access to both worlds, which is kind of interesting, which I'm sure we'll see that play out later on. If you're not familiar with Inuyasha, as I am not very familiar with Inuyasha, the original air run, I think it was back in like 2000 to 2004, somewhere around there, then I think around 2010-ish, they released like the final part of it because they never finished it in 2000 to 2004. So keep in mind, in 2000, I would have been in elementary school. I think I would have been in either kindergarten or first grade in the year 2000, depending on when this came out. So I have personally never really fully watched Inuyasha. I have watched a few episodes here and there, but I definitely have never finished the series or watched the entire series. So I'm basically coming into this brand new as if I never watched the original show. And based on this first episode, I don't think you are going to have to know like what happened in the original show, minus the little bit of backstory that you can get off Wikipedia, or I'm just going to tell you now. Basically, the gist of it was Kagome fell through a well, and Inuyasha had some sort of magical gem shard in it. Everybody was after that. It shattered, and then they go back to collect all of the pieces. And I don't know if the pieces are currently collected at this point in time, or if it's something that has now been passed on to the kids. And now it is their problem. So the gist of this episode is basically they're going after a four-eyed owl demon thing that we see. Tawa is, and then the other two girls as well. And then basically it tells them the gist of the story that they heard a long time ago about Inuyasha. I don't know how time works in the place where Inuyasha lives, whose name I don't even remember. And then current day Tokyo, I don't know what the time difference is. If it's like, oh, you spend one day in Tokyo, it's like 100 years there, etc. Because there does seem to be some sort of time difference. It's almost like a 100-year skip or something. They found the rusty bike seat of Kigoye. I do remember that, seeing her riding the bike in like a trailer or something a very, very long time ago. But basically, there was a root demon, and it was unsealed because of like an avalanche or something. Somebody Inuyasha used to know or date or something that looked similar to Kagome, who is a priestess, sealed it as opposed to killing it for whatever reason. She was killing a bunch of demons back in the day. Knock, knock, knock. And it got loose and started wreaking havoc, killing people, and then it keeps multiplying underground until you find the main body and end up killing it. And that's what they did, or at least that's what they thought they did. However, a piece of it seemed to live, suck onto this tree of life type thing, and that was basically the gist of that. What I didn't know is Zangetsu. Inuyasha has Zangetsu, and I was like, wait a minute. Freaking Ichigo Bleach. I was like, I didn't realize they took that from that. That's kind of interesting. You know, I thought, that was its whole separate thing. It's kind of neat to see all the different animes, how they all kind of take ideas from one another. I'm guessing Zangetsu is some sort of crazy space-time thing, possibly, because that's basically what he used. Very cool action scenes, very cool fighting. Got to see some old characters that I'm sure some of you remember, but I sure don't. I got no idea what's going on. I'm just sitting here like, okay, I don't know any of the background to this going into it, but I'm just going to enjoy it. And I did. I enjoyed the episode. It was just a nice little kind of introduction to it. You get some backstory in Inuyasha. I don't know if we're actually going to see him in Kigoe throughout the series. I'm guessing we are, because similar to Boruto, every time Naruto shows up in it, the ratings go sky high. So I'm guessing they plan on doing the same exact thing, which would make sense. I don't believe there is a manga of this. I believe it is just an anime only, so we don't know how many episodes we're going to get at this point in time. I'm assuming it's probably going to be, by the looks of it, 13, but there's no manga. So if you want to see the spinoff, you have to watch the anime, and that's all you're getting. You're not getting a manga or a web novel. To my knowledge, I believe it says it's an anime-only spinoff. My guess is, depending on how good it goes, they'll probably remaster Inuyasha, because I don't think they've ever done that to my knowledge. Kind of similar how they've done it with Dragon Ball Z multiple times. With Dragon Ball Z Kai, etc., get it up to the newest resolution as opposed to the old square, literal square. If you remember the old TVs back in the day, yeah, is that me sounding like an old fart? And then they'll probably continue the series and just keep it going for a while until everybody kind of gets sick of it, and then end it, and then who knows, we'll see what happens. Boruto seems to be going semi-strong right now. I thought that was going to fade out. I didn't get too far into that, but it's still going strong, Boruto. So we'll definitely just have to wait and see how this all plays out. I have no idea what's going to happen next episode, I'm going to be honest with you. My guess is based on the little preview, which thank God for anime previews. I love previews, and I hate when they don't include them. A lot of shows lately have not been including previews, either that or because it's all online now. It's like you get a clip like 3 days later. I was like, oh, here's the preview, and then I always forget to watch it, and then kind of forget about it, and then the week goes on, and then bada bing, bada boom, you're on to the next thing. But basically, it's like one sister fighting the other for whatever reason. I think we're going to get the backstory of how all the sisters met up, because apparently at one point they were separated for 10 years, or the twins were. Tawa, I believe, and Sensua were separated for 10 years. The character design-wise, they all look pretty cool. I mean, I definitely see aspects of both the characters. The one instance, Inuyasha sniffing, they have the one girl doing that. The hair, obviously, the facial features. My only kind of question is, what's with the red? Neither one of them have red hair. I get that Inuyasha's entire getup is all red, but like, what's with the red hair? I'm confused by that. Is that a priestess thing, perhaps? I have no idea. I'm just very curious as to how they all managed to get red hair. I mean, it looks cool, I'm being honest. I like the red stripes in the hair. But, I mean, you would think the animators would be like, nah, just leave it one solid color, because that would make sense. Unless they have hair dye, because we do know that they are all in Tokyo at some point in time, so it is a good possibility they have some sort of access to some type of hair dye, which we've seen that happen in anime before. So, you know, anime like My Hero Academia, we know that, what is it, Red Riot there, he dyes his hair red after his hero, so it's not unheard of to see characters dyeing their hair in the anime, but who knows? We will just kind of have to wait and see how this all plays out. I think a lot of people may be revisiting Inuyasha at this point in time. I may finally watch it. Who knows? I need to watch Yu Yu Hakusho. I never finished that past the tournament. I know there's a lot of stuff that happens past the tournament. But who knows? You know, all of these old anime that I saw little glimmers of. It's like Dragon Ball. Like, I never actually got to watch the original Dragon Ball until years after I watched Dragon Ball Z, because it came out like when I was 5. And when you're a 5-year-old kid, I feel like your thoughts are like Teletubbies or whatever other random kid shows are on, and learning your ABCs. I don't remember what it's like to be a 5-year-old. That was 20 years ago for me. So is what it is. It's just kind of funny how this all played out, but not really a lot going on here. I mean, it definitely kind of reminds you what Inuyasha was, but like, we got zero character development for the three daughters. We got to see some old characters, which I'm guessing a lot of people wanted to see anyway, perhaps. But not really a lot going on. Basically, just a nice little introduction. Shows you what Inuyasha was originally about. Shows you the 3 main characters that we're going to be talking about. And then we're going to go on to the next episode. So, I mean, this is probably a solid 7 out of 10. I would rate this. If we were going from 1 to 10, I'm not going to do your 0.5s in there. It didn't really fully pull me in. But at the same time, I feel like if I watched the original series to completion, I would probably be a lot more giddy about it. This is kind of more for them anyway. This is definitely more for the fans that already watched the original series. Do you have to watch the original series to fully understand what's going on? No, I don't believe you do. But it definitely would help if you got a couple minutes, watched the movies, read the plot of the original, went on Wikipedia or something to try to get all of that information to see what's going to happen, because then you would fully know what's going on, unlike me, where I'm kind of confused because I don't understand the premise of the world. I don't understand the characters fully. I don't know where half of these characters came besides the two main ones, Inuyasha and Kigoe. I actually thought Inuyasha's brother was just a different form of him. I completely forgot that he was a thing. I don't know if they had some sort of epic battle or something at one point in time. I do remember the necklace, the sit boy, and it knocks him into the ground. I do definitely remember the necklace. They paid homage to that. That happened in like the first or second episode, if I remember watching the series. But it was so long ago at this point in time, so long ago. I don't even think the original fans that watched the series to completion remember half of the stuff that went on in it. Let's be honest. I mean, the 20 years is a gap. 20 years is definitely a big gap, but they're seeing other shows doing it, so they decided to kind of jump on it too, and I don't blame them. I mean, other shows doing it perfectly fine. If you want to make a continuation series, kind of a new generation, to get other people into it and maybe look at your show again, try to sell some merchandise, all makes sense. You got to make your money somewhere. So that is what it is. Well, I think that pretty much wraps this episode up. I am very confused with it. I enjoyed it, but I'm confused still because I don't have the full backstory, but I'm sure we're going to get a lot more information about these three girls throughout the rest of the show. Or three demon slayers, I should say, throughout the rest of the show. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.